afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Wagga Wagga Art Gallery, one of our favourite performance venues here in Wagga Wagga. And today is the 8th of our lunchtime concerts for 2022. Over the last 8 weeks, you have had singers, you've had piano, you've had violin, you've had wind ensembles, you've had the whole swag of performance events over the last 8 weeks, and I hope you've appreciated those. Oh, fantastic. Now, but this afternoon is an absolute treat because we have at the Riverina Conservatorium of Music two artists of international standing. One is an actor, Wayne Pigram, who, as if you're a Wagga person, you will know that Wayne has graced both the silver screen, the small screen and stage. He grew up here in Wagga Wagga, played rugby league for Wagga Wagga, is an incredible drummer for which he works at the conservatorium, but when he's not a drummer, he's an actor. And we are just so proud to be able to present Wayne today in a role that he doesn't get to use sticks so as an actor. And the other artist today is Dr. Harold Gretton, who came to the Riverina Conservatorium from living and working in Germany and France as a guitarist and guitar teacher in Europe, and has recorded extensively and toured the world. So a collaboration between these two amazing artists, I think, seems only very natural. Today they're going to perform a very rarely heard piece of music, which is the music by Castel Nuovo Tedesco, and it's a work called Platero Yo. I'm not sure exactly how you say it, but it means Platero and I. It was performed here a few years ago by Jacob Cordova and his brother, but today it's a homegrown performance and one I know that you will be enormously entertained by. It's a lot of fun. You get to admire some extraordinary musicianship and some extraordinary work from our actor. So without further ado, please give your very warm welcome, both online and here in person, to Wayne Pigram and Harold Gretton.
Platero is a small donkey, a soft, hairy donkey, so soft to touch that he might be said to be made of cotton, with no bones. Only the jet mirrors of his eyes are hard like two crystal scarabs. They turn him loose, and he goes to the meadow, and with his nose, he gently caresses the little flowers of rose and blue and gold. I call him softly, Platero. And he comes to me in a gay little trot that is like laughter of a vague, idyllic tinkling sound. He eats whatever I give him. He likes mandarin, oranges, amber-hued muscatel grapes, purple figs tipped with crystalline drops of honey. He is as loving and tender as a child, but strong and sturdy as a rock. When on Sundays I ride him through the lanes on the outskirts of town, slow-moving countrymen dressed in their Sunday clean watch him a while speculatively. He is like steel, they say. Steel? Yeah. Steel and moon silver at the same time. Oh, look, Platero, how roses are falling everywhere. Blue roses, pink ones, white ones. Roses with no colour. One might say that the sky is dissolving in roses. See how my forehead, my shoulders, my hands are covered with roses. What shall I do with so many roses? Do you perhaps know where all this tender flora comes from, Platero? For I myself do not know its source, which each day softens the landscape and leaves it sweetly rosy, white and blue. Oh, more roses. Oh, more roses. Like a painting by Fra Angelico, he who used to paint glory on his knees. It might be said that roses are being thrown down from the seven heavens of paradise. As in a warm and vaguely colourful snowfall, the roses fall on tower, on roof, on trees. Look, everything harsh turns delicate. Delicate with their adornment. Roses, roses, roses. It seems, Platero, while St. John's bells ring, this life of ours loses its everyday strength, and that another force within, more high-minded, more constant and pure, makes everything as though fed from a reservoir of grace. Rise to the stars, which are already shining among the roses. More roses. And more roses. Your eyes, which you cannot see, Platero, and which you raise humbly to the sky, are two beautiful roses. Platero and I were returning from the mountains heavily loaded with sandalwood. I with yellow lilies. It was October dusk. Everything that in the west had been limpid gold was now limpid silver. A smooth luminosity of Cape Jessamine petals. Then the vast sky became transparent sapphire, then emerald. Sadness held me like a shroud. From On the hilltop of town, the church steeple crowned with blue tiles acquired in the clarity of the hour a monumental aspect. For the moment it was St. John's from a distance, and my yearning for Wagga acute in springtime found in the sight a melancholy comfort. Return. Where? To what? For what? To what? Return. To what? For what? To what? But the lilies I carried were more odorous and warm and in the freshness of the approaching night. Their fragrance was more penetrating and at the same time more vague, coming from the unseen blossoms as if they had become all odour, intoxicating the body and the soul in the solitary darkness. Oh, soul of mine, lily in the shadow, I said. And suddenly I remembered Platero. Though on him I had forgotten, as if he were part of my body. Sound of children, and I am in ill humour. No longer able to sleep, I leave my bed in despair. Then looking out of my open window, I realise that it is the birds whose shrill clatter has disturbed my slumbers. I go down to the garden and sing thanks to the god of the blue day. Oh, free concert of bills, fresh and endless music. Oh, the swallow, fanciful one, utters a warbling from the well. The blackbird whistles on the fallen orange. The fiery golden oriole chatters from evergreen to evergreen. The blue titmus laughs long and daintily on the top of the eucalyptus tree. And in the tallest pine, ooh, the sparrows. Oh, the sparrows argue outrageously. Oh, what a morning! The sun spreads his gold and silver gladness on the earth. Myriad coloured butterflies flit everywhere among the flowers, through the house, now in, now out, above the spring. Everywhere the countryside bursts open to a bubbling of new and wholesome life. It is as though we were inside a great honeycomb of light, which might be the heart of an immense coloured scarlet rose.
The world. The world.
Platero. What a deep word. How green and black. How cool.
How sonorous.
It is as if the word itself, turning boring, had drilled into the earth to reach cold water. Oh, look. The fig tree adorns and disturbs the calm. Within at hand's reach, a blue, sharp-smelling flower has found its way between mossy rocks. Farther down, a swallow has a nest. Oh, then below, in the motionless shadow, is an emerald palace and a lake, which when one flings a rock at its stillness, is angered and growls. And finally, the stars reflected. Night enters in. The silver moon is in the depth of dawn with stars. Silence. Along the road life has fled. The soul escapes to the depths through the well. One can see beyond the other side of the twilight, and it seems as though the giant of a night master of all the secrets of the world was about to spring forth from the well. Oh, quiet and magic labyrinth, sombre, fragrant spot, irresistible, enchanted scene. Platero, if someday I throw myself into the well, it'll not be for death's sake, or believe me, but only the more quickly to attain the stars. Oh, Platero braves, thirsty and eager. From the well, a frightened, dishevelled swallow wings silently. San Diego day is clouded with grey and white, as if set in cotton. Everyone's gone to church. The sparrows and Platero and I have remained in the garden. Sparrows, ooh, under the clouds, which at times rain a few drops, how they come and go in the climbing vines. How they shrill! How they peck at each other's bills! One lights on a bough. It takes flight and leaves it quivering. Another drinks a bit of sky from the little pool on the weak curb. Another has leapt up to the roof from the olive tree, whose almost dry flowers the grey day brightens in contrast. Oh, blessed birds, with no fixed holy days, free in the monotony of the innate, of the real. Bells mean nothing to them, unless it be a vague joyousness. Well content with no fatal obligations, with no Olympus to enrapture, nor Avernus to terrify them, with no morality but their own, nor any god but the blue. They are my brothers. Oh, my sweet little brothers. They travel without money and without luggage. They leave a house when the fancy strikes them. They know where to find a brook. They divine a fern, and they need but open their wings to gain happiness. They know nothing of Mondays, or Saturdays. They bathe anywhere, anytime. They love nameless love, the universal loved one. And when people, poor wretched people, go to church on Sundays, locking their doors behind them, they, in a glad example of rightless love, suddenly come with their fresh and jovial strilling to the hardens of the closed houses of which some poet, or which they know well, and a tender, loving donkey. Will you let me join our names together, Platero? Will we watch them with fraternal love? No, we understand each other. I let him go at his fancy. And he always takes me to where I want to go. Platero knows that on reaching the Corona pine, I like to get close to its trunk and touch it. Oh, and to look up at the sky through its enormous light-filtered top. He knows that the narrow path that leads between grass plots to the old fountain delights me. That it is high time for me to watch the river on the pine hill, which, like a sorceress, brings classic scenes before me. I go to sleep, unafraid on his back. My awakening always finds me at one of these friendly spots. I treat Platero as if he were a child. If the road is rough or a little too hard for him, I get down, just to make it easy for him. I kiss him. I tease him mercilessly. He knows that I love him and he bears me no grudge. He is so like me. Well, so different from the rest, that I have come to believe that he dreams my own dreams. Platero had just drunk 2 bucketfuls of water with stars by the barn well, and he was returning to the stable, slow and absent-minded among the sunflowers, wrapped in the warm fragrance of the heliotropes and lying on the whitewashed dorsal. I was waiting for him. Beyond the roof, the distant field damp with September dew slept, sending forth the pungent breath of pines. Whoa. A huge black cloud like a gigantic hen, laying an egg of gold, laid the moon upon the hill. I said to the moon, but alone has this moon in the sky never been seen to fall. You are not dreaming this, Platero. Platero? He stared at the moon, and with a harsh, soft sound, he shook one ear. He turned to gaze at me, and then he shook the other. Dressed in my mourning with my sad eyes and my small brown hat. I must look odd riding on Platero's grey softness. When on the way to the vineyards, I crossed the last streets, whitewashed and dazzlingly bright in the sunlight, shaggy-haired gypsy children with sleek-tanned bellies showing out of their green, red and yellow rags run after us, shrilling a long, drawn-out call.
Crazy man!
Hey, loco! Hey, crazy man! Crazy man! Before us lies the open country. Face to face with the vast, pure sky of the fiery blue, my eyes, so far from my ears, open contentedly, receiving in all the quietness that nameless calm, that harmonious and divine serenity that lies in the infinitude of the horizon. And from a distance, over the fields, sharp cries finally muffled, broken, breathless fate.
Crazy man! Yeah, you are loco! Crazy man!
Crazy man! She was sitting up straight in a poor mean chair, her face a dead white, like a bruised lily, in the centre of the cold, whitewashed room. The doctor had prescribed walking in the country to take the sun out of that chilly May. The poor child could not go. When I get to the bridge, I hear this childish voice. She told me, "You see, sir, just close by. I can't breathe." The childish voice, thin and broken, would fail her as a summer breeze sometimes fails. I offered her Platero for a little ride. Mounted on him, what laughter from her sharp, dead child's face. All black eyes and white teeth. Women would look out of their doorways to watch us pass. Well, Platero walked slowly, as if knowing he was carrying a fragile lily of fine crystal. The girl, in her spotless habit of the Virgin of Montemaya, tied at her waist with scarlet cord, transfigured by fever and hope. She looked like an angel. An angel passing through town. An angel making her way to the southern sky. Platero, and how lovely this wayside blossom. Well, the bustle and confusion passed beside it. The bulls, the goats, the stallions, mean. And it's so delicate and so weak. It remains erect, mauve and fine in its place, uncontaminated by any impurity. Each day when starting up the slope, we take the cross path. Oh, you've seen it on its green stem. Well, now there's a bird by its side that flies away. Why? When we approach, now it is full like a tiny chalice of the clear water of a summer cloud. And now it consents to the foray of a bee. Oh, the voluble adornment of a butterfly. This flower will live but brief days. Platero, although its memory may be eternal, its life will be like the day of your spring, or the spring in my life. What would I not give autumn, Platero, in exchange for this divine flower? That it might be, day by day, the simple and endless example of our life. Night falls hazy and purple. Vague green and mauve luminosities persist behind the tower of the church. The road ascends full of shadows, of bells, of the fragrance of grass, of songs, of weariness, of desire. Suddenly a dark man wearing a cap and carrying a pick, his face red from the instant that the light of his cigarette comes towards us from the wretched hut that is lost in the piles of coal sacks. Platero is afraid. Carrying anything? See for yourself. White butterflies. The man wants to stick his iron pick in the little basket, and I do not prevent him. They open the knapsack, and he sees nothing in it. And the food for the soul that passes, candid and free without paying tribute. Oh, without paying tribute to that mean customs man. One day, the green canary, I do not know how or why, he flew out of his cage. He was an old bird, a sad legacy from a dead woman, which I had not set at liberty for fear that he might starve or freeze to death, or that he might have been eaten by cats. Long he flew about the pomegranate blossoms in the garden, through the pine tree by the gate among the lilacs, and all morning long the children sat on the porch, absorbed in their brief flights of the yellowish bird. Platero, well, he rested close by the rose bushes, playing with a butterfly. Afternoon, the canary came to the roof of the large house, and there he remained a long time, fluttering in the soft light of the setting sun. And all of a sudden, without anyone's knowing how or why, he appeared in his cage, gay once more. Oh, what a stir in the garden! All the children leapt about, clapping their hands, rosy and laughing as the dawn. Ah, the mad dog Diana, mad with joy, followed me, barking at her own tinkling bell. And having caught their mirth, Platero, capered around like a wild young goat, stood on his hind legs dancing a rude waltz. And then, standing on his 4 feet, he kicked his hind feet in the air, in the clear, warm air. I found Platero lying on his bed of straw, eyes soft and sad. I went to him, I stroked him, talking to him and trying to help him to stand. Poor fellow quivered. He started to rise. Oh, 1 4-foot bent under. He could not get up. Then I straightened his foot. I patted him again. I called the doctor. Old O'Bon, as soon as he saw him, he puckered his toothless mouth and shook his bulbous head like a pendulum. No hope? I do not know what he answered. fellow was dying. Nothing. A pain? Some root he had eaten with the grass. At noon, Platero was dead. His cotton-like stomach had swollen like a globe, and his rigid, discoloured legs were raised to heaven. His curly hair looked now like the moth-eaten hair of old dolls that falls off when you touch it. Through the silent stable, its translucent wings seemed to catch fire every time it passed the ray of light that came in through the little window. Fluttered a three-coloured butterfly. This afternoon I went with the children to Platero's grave. A low mound that lies in the orchard at the top of it, a round fatherly pine tree. April had adorned the damp earth with large yellow lilies. Titmus was singing above in the green canopy mottled with the blue zenith, and their light trilling, joyous and fairy-like, drifted away on the golden air of the balmy evening like a limpid dream of new love. As soon as we arrived, the children stopped shouting. Quiet and sober, their bright eyes following mine, they plied me with anxious questions. Friend Platero, I said to the hearth, if I believe, as if I believe, you are now in a heavenly meadow and carry angel children on your hairy back, have you forgotten me, perhaps? Come on, tell me, Platero, do you still remember me? And, as if answering my question, a white butterfly, soft and smooth as waxen petals, fluttered gently like a soul. Like a soul. From lily to lily.
Watch out for Platero. Well, it's been a while since I've sat through that entire piece of incredible poetry combined with incredible music, and I'd forgotten how incredibly moving it is, particularly as it draws to an end, and that lifelong companionship between man and animal. I'm not really quite sure what to follow up with that, except to say thank you so much for coming this afternoon. The next 2 weeks, we have 2 weeks left of term 2. We have more performances than you can poke a stick at. So tomorrow night we have 2 student recitals up at the Conservatorium. I would, unless you have a child in that, I'd probably recommend it'll be a very busy period, so maybe stay away from those ones. But if you do have a child, please come. Then on Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. at the Athenaeum Theatre in Junee, really recommend you bring your family out, have a lovely afternoon in Junee, and get to hear the Riverina Concert Band, the Student Concert Band, and the Junee Brass Band, or Town Band, and the Junee Choir. We're going to be having, so there's a fan here, so it's going to be a wonderful afternoon of music out at Junee at the Athenaeum Theatre. It's an amazing venue here in the Riverina. If you haven't been out, Sunday is your chance. It's a fantastic opportunity to go and visit one of our small villages and get to experience some music being made both from ensembles at the Conservatorium, but also some ensembles in Junee itself. Then next week, on Thursday, we are back at St John's Anglican Church. Lauren Davis, who is one of the violin teachers at the Conservatorium, again another internationally experienced and renowned violinist, will be performing 2 incredible works for violin and piano with me on the piano. We'll be doing the Hummel Sonata in B-flat, which is in fact very rarely performed. And I was saying only to someone yesterday that it's so rarely performed that you can't actually just go into a shop and buy the music. You have to order the music from the publisher who prints it just for you. It took 10 weeks for the music to arrive, so not commonly performed. You can't even get it on the IMSLP site, so it's a rare treat to hear a piece of music, and it is absolutely divine. It's a magical little sonata, which I, prior to learning it, had never heard before. So please come along and listen to that, and then we'll be coupling that as Lauren and I make our journey through the 10 violin sonatas of Beethoven. We've jumped a little bit. We're jumping all the way to number 10, so we'll be performing the 10th violin sonata for violin and piano, or as Beethoven put it, for piano and violin. And that will be next Thursday at St John's at the normal lunchtime concert. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. In this day and age, I'll probably get lynched on the way out for doing that. But that's not all, folks. If you haven't got your tickets, the Sydney Symphony Orchestra is on at the Civic Theatre tonight. We also have the final performance in our lunchtime concert series, which is going to be on the final Thursday of the term. I have it in my head that that's Thursday the 23rd, and that, sorry, what date? The 30th, okay, there you go, I was very wrong. And that will be at the Riverina Playhouse, and that will feature our multi-instrumentalist and composer in residence, Cara Williams, who, if you haven't been getting to know Cara's music, that she's both composed and arranged, in 2 weeks at the Playhouse, you'll get to have a chance to listen to her arrangements, but also to her skills as a multi-instrumentalist, as she will stand on the stage with about 10 woodwind instruments around her. And the name of the concert is Double Trouble, and I don't think there are too many pieces in the program where she doesn't play 2 instruments during the piece of music. So an extraordinary artist and an amazing feat of musicianship. And she will be joined by some members of the RCM string faculty, and also some two members of the Australian Army Band Kapuka. So that's Cara Williams on the 30th at St John's, and that again will be, no, sorry, not St John's, the Riverina Playhouse. Right next to St John's. If you go to St John's, it's okay. You just have to walk down the hill. So that's coming up in the next couple of weeks. I know I'm missing something in the midst of all of that. For those of you who are very curious, if you haven't driven past 1 Symonds Street recently, please take a little journey down Johnson Street. You can have a look at how our new conservatorium is shaping up. We'll be hoping that by the start of term 4, we will be in that new building. So we've only got one more term to go, and if you've made any recent visits to South Campus, you'll note that that's going to be a very welcome change for a whole raft of reasons. Thank you so much for coming along this afternoon to hear Wayne and Harold, and we look very much to seeing you next Thursday at St John's. Have a great week. We'll see you soon. Thank you.